Welcome back. I have started this video like 6 times. So I'm on the struggle bus this morning and we're just going to go with it. So we're talking today about that sinking feeling. And in Matthew 14:22 through 33, it says, "And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into the mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was boisterous. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, If it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. And when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased, and they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth thou art the Son of God. One of my favorite parts of that is when Peter's talking to Jesus, and he said, If this is you, bid me to come out onto the water. And Jesus simply says, Come. He just simply says, Come. Jesus always wants us to come to him. And no matter what, there's always that open invitation that he has for us. And he just says, Come. And, he is always welcoming us into his presence. He's always drawing us closer to him. He just simply says, Come. My other favorite part of that is when Peter is coming out of the ship and he's walking on the water to Jesus, and he sees the storm. He's taking his eyes off of Jesus, and he begins to sink. Sometimes at work we just get covered up. We get so busy, and usually one of us, usually me, will say, I'm just over here trying to keep my head above water. Or I'm drowning over here. Or, lately it's been, my head is no longer above water. I'm drowning. So that's sometimes how we feel in life. We feel like we're in over our heads, or we get very overwhelmed, and we just feel like we're drowning. We feel like we're sinking. And, when Peter began to sink, he cried out to Jesus and said, Lord, save me. And it says that Jesus immediately reached out his hand. He didn't say, What's wrong with you? He didn't scold him. He didn't shame him. It says he immediately reached out his hand. He'll do the same for us. When we need him, all we have to do is call him. And he is immediately there, reaching out his hand to us to help us in whatever it is we're facing. And, Jesus then says, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? So, Peter, where's your faith? Why did you doubt? We can ask ourselves the same thing. We begin feeling overwhelmed, or we get just so covered up, and so we just feel like we're fighting that losing battle. And we just have that sinking feeling. We're drowning over here. And we just sometimes feel like there's no way out. And, we need to ask ourselves, where's our faith? Where, in that moment of desperation, in that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, what are we trusting in? Are we trusting in him? Mm-hmm. Are we trusting in our own abilities? Are we trusting in our own strengths? Are we trusting in our own intelligence, our own finances? What is it that we're trusting in that our trust is not in him? what are we placing our faith and trust in? You know, and in Matthew 17, verse 20, it says, And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible. And, you know, Jesus is saying here, if we even have the smallest amount of faith, that can do big things. You know, little is much when it comes to God. You know, the mustard seed, one of the notes I read, it said it was the smallest seed that they had that they could grow. And when they would plant that and that plant would begin to grow, it could grow up to 10 feet. So just from that little tiny mustard seed, it grew into something larger. It just grew. So that's the way our faith can be. Just give it a little bit, just a little bit of faith, and then your faith is just going to grow. And so, you know, when we feel like Peter, we feel like we're sinking, we feel like we're overwhelmed, we need to cry out to God and ask Him, you know, Lord, save me. I need help here. And He is immediately there reaching out His hand, just like He did for Peter. And, you know, we need to place our faith and our trust back in where it needed to be in the first place. We can't do this life alone. You know, I don't know why we try. I don't know why we try. You know, we sometimes, like Peter, we get distracted or we get caught up in the storm. We get caught up in the busyness and the day-to-day, and we just get overwhelmed, and we work ourselves harder than we need to, because He's right there. He's ready to reach out His hand and help us in whatever it is that we're dealing with. We were never meant to do it alone. Thank goodness that we don't have to do it alone. Because, like I said at the beginning, you know, I've tried to make this video 6 times. You know, I was outside, you know, the wind was blowing, the cars were going. I mean, it was a train wreck. It was just a train wreck. And I kept getting frustrated because I thought, you know, I'm just trying to do a video here. And I just brought in my stuff, set it back down, and I sat over here and I prayed and said, Lord, I don't know what to do here, because this is a mess. So I had my little prayer, and I was just going to log in and start working, you know, go to work. And I thought, you know what? We're going to do this. He's with me. He's got me. So we're going to do this. And so I set it up in here, you know, no more wind, no more cars, no more. It was just a mess. The camera fell one time, and I was just like, really? So sometimes we just have to do that. We have to, you know, take a minute, just take it to Him. Say, Lord, help me. I need help here, because I obviously cannot do this on my own. So, and if we do, we make a complete mess anyway. So we need to call out to Him anyway. So I hope that you have a better morning than I did trying to get things together. So I hope you have a better day, and, you know, just call out to Him, because He will be with you. He will get you through it. He's there reaching out His hand. And until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks, guys.